the different cultures, all the backgrounds. I mean, this is Iowa, and we love it. I'm Charmaine, this is April. We organized this event, and we really know we're going to get something great out of this event. And this is for us to come together peacefully and to show the world that we know how to get things done in the correct way. Together we can make a change. Our group is Overflow, and we are going to present to you the Black National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that our dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Is won. Is won.
Talk about a choir of heavenly angels. Can we hear it for those ladies again, please? My goodness! Do you feel your spirit lifted? Do you feel love in your heart? Ladies and gentlemen, it brings me such great joy after the trials and the tribulations and the troubles and the dangers these past few days to see what I see in front of me. The beauty of each and every one of you. People of every different race, color, creed, different backgrounds, different locations. And what did we come here for tonight? Not to demonstrate, not to protest, but so that we can say three things. That we want change, that we want activism, that we want peace, and that we want that all right now. And I will say to you this, that when it comes to those days of something happening and we do not speak up, to those days I say no more. Can I hear you say no more? To those days of me standing beside when brothers and sisters are hurting, I will say no more. To the days when we do not listen to our neighbors and try to feel their heartstrings, I say to those days no more. And I also say to those leaders out there who spread misinformation, division, and racism, I tell you that your time in office is no more. Thank you for coming out here. Before I introduce our individual who will open us in prayer, who is a wonderful friend of mine and who has had to walk a punishing walk from Southeast 14th to 6th Street and back, and whew, that was a long walk on a hot day. But I want to share this with you. It's one of my favorite things I've heard from the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and that is that darkness cannot defeat darkness. Only light can defeat darkness. That hate cannot drive out hate. That only love can drive out hate. So I ask you to look around and find that love in your heart and try and create that love with your fellow person. Because it's together that all of us are going to defeat those struggles which causes all of us so much pain. Thank you. But now it is my great pleasure to introduce to you a woman who has stand by my side at now a third of our many events that we have been going to in very, very warm weather and in very, very crowded conditions. Please let me introduce to you my good friend, the president of Interfaith Alliance, Ms. Connie Ryan.
Would you take a moment of silence to honor George Floyd, his family, his friends, his community? O Holy One, by whatever name you are called in the hearts of all those present, open our eyes so we see the distress of others with clarity. Open our ears so we clearly hear their cries. Open our hearts that we may feel the anguish and the pain. Give us courage to defend the oppressed and those who are powerless. Give us strength to do the work necessary. Show us that in a world full of hate and violence, love and hope will always win given the chance. Open our ears and our eyes, our hearts and our lives, that we may find the determination in these coming days and years to do the work of social justice, fighting racism and all the isms and phobias of this world, and that we do it together. We pray for the family of George Floyd. We pray for his community and for our community, and that we might find our way to create a just and a fair world. We ask for the understanding and inspiration necessary to embrace change and the wisdom and courage to stay on the journey. May it be so. Amen.
Thank you for those beautiful words, Connie. So for our next speaker, I would like to introduce to you the Reverend Dr. Ben C. Bell Jr., who is the co-founder of Dads with a Purpose, has served and loved his community for over 40 years. So please open your hearts and give a great big welcome to this very loving man. Thank you.
Avengers. My wife. Dr. Bell, once again, my wife. I wore both of them so I would not get in trouble. She's a nurse. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do like I did for 25 years of pastoral ministry. I'm going to preach by stopwatch so you can hear me and not endure me. Is that fair? Is that fair? Is that fair? Yeah. By stopwatch? Yeah. So here we go. We're standing on the grounds of a monument, state capitol. The mantra is, our what? Liberties Somebody knows it. Our liberties what? We prize in our. We will maintain. Right? That's what we say. Whose rights?
Our rights.
I like that word, our. Whose liberties?
Ours.
And to all that I say, amen. About 6 blocks down the street, I went to a school that's no longer there called Wallace Elementary. When I was a little boy, they taught me this song in the 60s. It said something about sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountain side. Let freedom ring from everywhere, for all people, in every situation. Amen? For everybody. That's what we want. For everybody. And I thought about this as well. Breathing. About 285 miles away from here, we stopped a young man from breathing, knowing that he was struggling for air. Come on, somebody. In a place where we say life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And what I'm saying to you is we need to decide if we're going to create a society where people are afraid to do that to somebody or not. There should have been a fear to handle him like that. Should have been afraid to act like that. So what I'm going to say to you today is there's a movement going on in our country. Isn't that right? There's a movement. What I don't want you to do is let that movement become a museum that one day becomes a memorial and people go by and say, I remember when they had lofty ideas about working together and everybody getting along, but now it's a memorial and we go put it in a historical building and talk about, we show the pictures of all of us that passed on. I don't want my young people to believe that what we say when we say we pledge allegiance is just a mask. I don't want my grandchildren to believe that. You young people that are out there protesting, I'm going to tell you something. You're being heard. You're being heard. I didn't get up here to talk about the Magna Carta and the Constitution and civil rights. You know why? All that stuff is in place and these things are still happened. Come on, they still happen. I'm talking about us coming together to create change. I'm talking about us listening to what people are saying when they're hurting. If they would have just heard, I can't breathe, he'd still be breathing. But I found this out after having been married for 38 years, but I learned it a long time ago, that in order to listen, you have to be silent. And here's what's interesting. The same letters in the word silent are the same letters in the word listen. So sometimes you got to shut your mind so you can hear what the other person is saying. I'm in pain. I'm being treated differently. This doesn't feel right. This isn't fair. So you have to drown out that other noise that you've been listening to so you can hear the pain. There's another word that comes out of those 6 letters. It's the word tinsel. Does anybody know what tinsel is? It's that little cute stuff you put up during the holidays that's glittery, and after the holiday is over, it doesn't mean much anymore. It's sparkly, it catches your attention, but doesn't mean anything. So what I'm going to say to you is don't be tinsel. Don't be tinsel. Be significant. You go and find the next door neighbor, knock on their door. If you've never spoken to them, tell them who you are. The next day, go a couple doors down and speak to somebody else. Let them know who you are. Quit hiding from your people. I heard somebody say we got to put the word neighbor back in hood. Neighbor back in hood. So we can quit being recognized as being the hood. So you don't think we're a bunch of hoods, but we're a bunch of neighbors. And I'm almost done. I want you to help me get people from Beaverdale, people from Urbandale, people from Mount Damon, River Bend, to all sit down together and have a conversation about how we're going to change things. Let's have a real conversation. Because see, this hat is not tinsel. I put my life on the line because of what my dad told me I should believe in. He told me to believe in the country. And when I felt like I was going someplace to protect it, I decided this is the best way to do it at the ripe young age of 17. Well, now I'm 58, and I'm going to tell you that what you're doing is significant. It means something. We're going to respond to you. We're going to respond. You're going to respond to me. We're going to sit down. We're going to have some conversations. We're going to vote the right way. And you know, I'm a preacher. I'm not much for fussing and cussing, but I will tell you this. Sometimes the way people talk, you notice how when you frustrate somebody and you don't like the way they tell you that they're frustrated? Don't pay attention to the verbiage. Do they have a reason to be angry? Do they have a reason to be upset? Repeat this with me. Well, then, listen! I can't breathe.
That was powerful. Powerful words, sir. Powerful. You know what? I'm going to invite all of you not to be tinsel out there. My name is Al Womble, and I belong to the Iowa Democratic Black Caucus. But that, thank you, yes. But that is just one of the many organizations that has helped put on this event today. And around this area, you will see little QR codes. And the younger people here have told me that means you can scan that with your phone and you will be able to sign up for one of these organizations. So I encourage you not to be tinsel and to be active and do something. Sign up for one of these organizations. Get involved. Put on an event like this yourself for something that you care about and make sure something gets done with your life and that you are not just tinsel. And before I introduce my next speaker, I would like to thank some very special people who have stood by me for the past couple days, and I am so thankful for these brothers. I want to say, wherever you are right now, thank you, Cameron Middlebrooks, president of the Des Moines NAACP. I want to say thank you, Isaiah Knox, president of Urban Dreams. I want to say thank you, Reverend Rob Johnson. I want to say thank you, Brother Eddie Morrow, for standing by my side. Thank you, Eddie, for being there with me. And the last man you're going to hear from later, but I have to say it now. My guidance, my inspiration, my heart. Sorry. I'm old, we get emotional, damn it. But my brother, my inspiration, Representative Abdul-Samad. And now, that's the man right there. Let me hear it for him right now. Let me hear it for him right now. RKO! RKO! KO! RKO! RKO! And now, I would like to introduce you a young woman with a strong voice who's going to school you now. So you better listen. She comes to us from Iowa City, from the University of Iowa, Miss Kiara Warner. Bring it on now, girl. Bring it on.
I told a black boy I loved him today. Told him that his existence is necessary. Told him something this country has never said. And no, he wasn't family or friend. In fact, I haven't even ever met him. Don't know much more about him than his name, but I still said the words that I have a hard time saying. I told a black boy I loved him today. Prayed this paragraph would protect him. Prayed police wouldn't pop off. I wanted to tell him that I would lend him my shoulder to cry on. That if I could be human shield, I would. I wanted to give him my breath in case they tried to take his. I haven't met this black boy, but I told him that I love him. Told him that his skin isn't criminal. A black boy was murdered today. His last breath caught on camera, showcased for the whole world to see. A Facebook Live turned funeral. A black boy was murdered today. And every day, told that target on back isn't worth the riot. White boy says he can't breathe with mask and brings AK-47. Unarmed black boy says he can't breathe with knee on neck. Black boy turned blue like moonlight. Does his life matter now? Are you still shouting blue lives matter, even if black boy is blue? I told a black boy I loved him today. He may not be family or friends. He may not live in my city or my state, but his life matters to me.
Did I not tell you she was powerful? Let's hear it for that girl. Let me hear it for her. Come on now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had somebody join us now, and she is also another powerful speaker. We only got a short time for her, but that's all right, because her voice has that much power and grace in it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you the president of the Iowa-Nebraska NAACP chapter, Miss Betty Andrews.
Good evening. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank the organizers for inviting me to have just a few words with you this evening. And I would like to start those words by saying Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd. Let's take a moment and let it sink in. I am excited to see so many people here present. I am pleased that across the country, people have stood up. Because you know what? We are the ones. We are the ones to make change. And now is the time. I want everybody to do this for me really quickly. I want you to look, everybody face your left. Look to your left. Look to your left really quickly. Your left is different from my left. But no, that's fine. Look to your left. Do you see Malcolm? Anybody see Martin? No. I want you to just turn to the back. Look to the back. Anybody see Sojourner? Anybody see Rosa? Do you? No. Okay. I want you to look over here to your right. Anybody see Obama? Anybody see Thurgood Marshall? So what does that tell you? Who's standing here? We're standing here, action means showing up with your bodies. Action means standing in the streets and making sure that your voice is heard. Because Black Lives Matter, say it with me, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Yes, yes, we have to be heard. We have to be heard. But we also have to make sure, that as we are protesting, that we start thinking about next steps. Next step. How do we get this from protest to power? How do we get this from protest to policy? How do we get this from protest to laws that prohibit our black boys, our black girls from being trampled in the streets or suffering in the jail cell? How do we change this place? And that means that you gotta, in addition to that, you gotta educate yourself. One quick fact, in this state, so yes, Minnesota is happening. Other places in this country are happening. But in this state, Iowa still locks up more black folks per capita than almost any other state in the world. In this nation. You gotta get educated. And then in this country, white folks have 10 times the wealth of black folks. 10 times. That's a lot. That's a lot. And so you gotta educate yourself. You gotta start by voting tomorrow. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote. Side note. I know there's a curfew in place. And I see you coming now, just one moment. I know there's a curfew. But you need to, if you are in line at 9 o'clock to vote tomorrow, because this should be the biggest protest. Voting should be the biggest protest. Okay? If you are in the line at 9 p.m. tomorrow to vote, you have to, that's why Pastor, stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Don't leave until you voted. So if you can do anything, start by tomorrow and vote, and then engage, reach out to the NAACP and some of these other organizations and get engaged, get into the process so you can be educated and so you can make a difference. We are the ones.
Now what did Pastor tell you in to begin with? Don't be what? Don't be what? Don't be what? So get out there and join one of these organizations, NAACP, Interfaith Alliance, Iowa Democratic Black Caucus. We would love to have all your voices, all of your support, all of our ideas. So next, our speaker is going to be Pastor Dan Berry of Cornerstone Family Church, author of Navigating Diversity in the Most Segregated Hour. Please open your hearts and hands to this man.
I am so honored and grateful to be here today. Representative Akeo, Dr. Ben, Connie, and Betty, and the different speakers that have spoken, it's just a privilege for me to be here. I'd like to give special thanks to Charmaine and her organizing committee and bringing this together and allowing us to come together. Before I start, I would like to recognize that we are gathered today on the land of the Iowa Sac and Meskwaki people. We recognize this stewardship and survivance. We are grateful to work in this community and on this territory. Today, this event is called Together We Can Make a Change, a call to action. We are here today because this has been a horrific week in America. George Floyd's brutal murder has sickened us all. African Americans continue to suffer under the abuse of power. continue day in and day out to suffer the trauma of racism. It never ends for them. It has been for a long time and continues. And I ask you just to pause for a moment and consider that. Consider the trauma that they face day in and day out. White America, for the most part, is disgusted and traumatized by what has happened. Police officers and their departments are reeling. Good cops are struggling because of what happened. The reality is our world is a mess, and it seems like no one knows what to do about it. And I have to ask all of us that are here today, how can that be? How can we continually end up in the same place over and over and not move forward? We are the most brilliant people on the planet, the most loving people on the planet, and yet here we are, still struggling to get our lives and our acts together. You know, I'd like to just suggest maybe it's because we don't know how to talk about it. Maybe it's because we don't know how to have the conversations that everyone longs for. We know how to protest. We know how to yell at each other, show up at rallies, shout slogans. But do we know how to sit down at a table and talk? Do we know how to listen to each other? Learn from one another. Now, I don't want you to get mad at me. I don't want you to shut me off here, but I'd like you to listen to this and consider this. The reality is that most people, most white people, know very little about racism, about what it really is. We prove it to people of color all the time. We know buzzwords, we know how to be nice to each other, but people of color don't have to be around us for more than 10 minutes and know that we don't have a clue. And I'm here tonight to share with you that that has to change. The bottom line is, even though we are sickened by what has happened, even though we show up at rallies like this, the truth is we don't know what to do. I hear so many people say all the time, I don't know what to say. I've watched intellectuals, politicians, pastors, white leaders at every level talk about how they don't know what to say, how they're afraid to say anything because it might be wrong, because it might offend somebody. But I'm here today to say to my white brothers and sisters, not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do is not going to cut it anymore. We in so many ways have helped create this mess, and we have to step up and help to solve it. We cannot allow ourselves to fall back into inactive anonymity when this blows over. We have to move beyond our empty opinions. We need more than talking points. We need more than buzzwords. My white brothers and sisters, when you struggle with what to say or do, you know what happens? You lose your focus. You start judging black and brown people. You stop listening. When you don't know what to say, when you don't know what to do, a void manifests, and then all of a sudden you see things and you hear about things and you begin to judge our black and brown brothers and sisters for what they are doing and what they are saying. Throughout history, we have told the world about our opinions and about how black people should rest and resist and how they should protest. In Birmingham, Alabama, when Dr. King led a protest that got him thrown into jail, white preachers wrote him a letter and told him how he was going about it all wrong, about how he needed to be more patient. My brothers and sisters, when you have no voice, you will start telling the world that what they are saying and what they are doing is wrong, and that's not the way they should go about it. To my white family, to white people, if you're really sick about our impotence to solve these issues, in my closing moments I have a little advice. I ask you to educate yourself to what racism really is. I ask you to quit living in the dark. I ask you to quit living off of your buzzwords and your political platforms. I ask you to open your heart and open your mind and learn. Let's find our voice. White brothers and sisters, let's quit embarrassing ourselves with our ignorance to what our black and brown family are really dealing with. My white brothers and sisters, I ask you, let's quit hurting our black and brown family with our complacency, with our lack of involvement, with our inability to speak up when we should, for our inability to do what we should do when we are needed. How about we get over ourselves and start sitting? How about we get over ourselves and start sitting at some tables with some people of color and just listen? How about we quit acting like we know all the answers? How about we just open up our hearts and minds and listen? The pastor of pastors, I'm a pastor, so I got to throw in a scripture, said in James 1:19, he said, understand this, dear brothers and sisters, you must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. How about we quit trying to tell our brothers and sisters what they need to do, and how about we just listen? Let's open our hearts and minds and dig into learning. There's more going on here than what we know. Peter told men to dwell with their wives according to knowledge. White family, let's learn to dwell with our black and brown brothers and sisters according to knowledge. I know that I'm supposed to tell you to pray, to be a good person, to love your neighbor. Okay, do that. But dear God, open your minds, open your hearts, and learn the truth about what is going on. May we be people of peace, with voices of hope, willing to do the hard work of love. Thank you. Let's hear it again for him. Hear it again for him. Oh, come on. Work of love. That's right. All right. I have the honor of introducing the next speaker. But before I do, my name is Joshua V. Barr. I'm the Director of Civil and Human Rights here in the city of Des Moines. And before I do that, I just have to say, where does change start? At the local level of government. Martin Luther King didn't start out at the Lincoln Memorial. He started out in Montgomery, Alabama. It starts at the local level. So I need you to repeat after me. I will get to know who my city council member is. I will build a relationship with my city council members. I will understand what are the policies and principles that they stand for. And I will
work to change and come up and show up every single day. We have policies that we're trying to get practiced and passed in our city council. No, sorry, y'all ain't say none of that. None of that, sorry, my bad. Don't repeat none of that. All right. But I just want to say this. Let me just say this. Sorry about that. I forgot. I haven't been to church in a while. My bad. So, all right. Let me just say this before I call up the next speaker. We have a lot of policies and principles that we're trying to get passed, but it happens at the local level. When the federal government shut down in 2019, most of y'all still went to work the next day, right? That's right. But if local government shut down, nobody's coming to fix your pothole. Nobody's coming to put out your fire. Nobody's showing up if there's a crime. Change starts at the local level. So we have a city council meeting June 11th to hear about some policies that we're trying to get passed and bridging the gap and improving relationships in communities. And we're also going to bring back the racial profiling ordinance before city council. So show up, let your voice be heard. And now, without further ado, I want to call up a lady who's worked hard in the community over a number of years trying to bridge relationships and build and bridge the gap and build relationships. Connie Ryan, Interfaith Alliance. Come on up.
Hello again. I want to thank the organizers of the event. This has been awesome and so powerful, and I hope that you are getting some inspiration to be involved and be part of the change. Thank you to all of our organizers. The theme tonight is Together We Can Make a Change, a call to action. As I thought about this, it took me back to my childhood. That's obviously where we learn a lot about things in the world, and they kind of resonate and they bounce around in our heads and in our hearts, and they kind of stay there for the rest of our lives. Beliefs and messages that are good and sometimes not so good. I was born in Akron, Ohio. I promise I'm not going to do my whole life story. I promise that. But I was born in Akron, Ohio, an industrial, primarily middle-class, diverse city. When I was 7, I moved to rural Kentucky. And we moved there so that my dad could go to seminary. Cynthiana, Kentucky is rural and mostly middle class and not very diverse. And I remember vividly when I was 7, my mom driving us through town, and I said to her one time out of the blue, "Why do all the black people live over in that area of town?" Evidently, I was just able to finally figure that out as a child. And so my mom took a breath, and she talked to me about racism, and she talked to me about discrimination, and she talked to me about all of the isms that she knew about that were part of that. And she mostly talked about how that was wrong. She talked with me as a child about how that was wrong. Throughout my childhood, I had many opportunities to learn. I had many opportunities to learn life lessons about race and discrimination, equality and fairness from my parents, from my community of faith, and from the world. I learned that all children in the world are precious and should be cared for as a gift from God. I learned that every person deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, regardless of race, and regardless of ethnicity, country of origin, religion and beliefs, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, and ability. I also learned from my parents and my faith community and the world that our society does not uphold those values of equality and equity and fairness across the board. Our society, our country, was shaped by the misguided notion that not only are some less than, but others actually deserve more than by society's standards. Our society picks winners and losers at birth, in part because of the color of your skin. And perhaps most importantly, I learned from my parents and my faith community, but not from the world, that it is incumbent upon me as a person of faith and someone with a tremendous amount of privilege granted to me for no particular reason other than I was born white. But I also have tremendous responsibility to use that privilege to impact society so that all people have opportunity. All people are treated with fairness and dignity. All people are lifted up by society that keep them down by the systems and institutions around us. That no person is discriminated against or experiences bigotry or must deal with violence or is murdered based on the color of their skin. But that is not our world. People do experience racism, bigotry, and discrimination is real. And death, murder, does happen simply because of the color of your skin. There is so much work to do. I want to talk to the white mamas in the crowd for a moment. If you are a white mama, raise your hand. I read an article today that we as white mamas need to step up and help carry the burden. We as white mamas need to be there on the lines. We as white mamas need to reach out to our black mama friends and say, we are with you. We stand with you. We hold you in our hearts. My son is over there, and I know that any of you would stand with me if something were to harm him. And I will stand with any of the black mamas and stand with you to protect your child. A lot of the work that we have to do is really white specific, isn't it? It is our work to educate ourselves. It is our work to read and learn about institutions and systems of oppression and the impact on today's generations. It is our work as white people to counter the hate mongers that are overt and oftentimes covert. It is our work to decrease their power and their impact. We cannot be silent. It is my responsibility as a white person with so much privilege to speak up against racism every time. But there is so much work we can do together also. I want you to look at that building. I can't really see it because of this monument, but I know it's back there.
It's there.
I want you to look at that building. There is so much that happens in that building that is so important. And you need to be, just like most things are local, it also happens at the state level and it happens at the federal level. And it is so important that we work together to pass legislation that curbs gun violence, that disproportionately impacts communities of colors, that we work together to pass adequate funding for public schools to support all of our children across the state and all of the communities, that we work together for families of color to have access to excellent health care, that we work together that community policing is the norm and not the exception, that law enforcement receive regular, required training on implicit bias and de-escalation of strategies. Systems and societies must change. We must be the ones that make that change happen. George Floyd died because of a knee buried deep in his neck. But George Floyd also died because our society is built on the premise and sends the message time after time, day after day, that black lives don't matter. Well, simply said, black lives do matter, and it is time for a change. I see faith leaders out there, I see teachers out there, I see preachers, and I see policymakers, and I see business people. It is time for a change in whatever system you are part of or you are around. It is time for a change, and it starts here. So whether this is your first step or whether you have been on the journey for a long time. We need to do this work together. We're here to say change is coming, and we are the change. Black lives do matter, and we will not stop until our society understands and believes and lives that every day. Black lives matter, do matter every day. We can do this. We can make change happen. We can do this together. Thank you.
Man, no wonder I like that lady. All right, so just one more time, I want to remind you folks, we do have those QR codes so you can join some of these wonderful organizations all around out there. We do have voter registration forms down there. But now I got another question to ask you. We had one powerful sister up here who was a Hawkeye. Are y'all ready to hear another powerful sister who's a Cyclone? Are you about ready for that? Well then let me hear you make some noise for Miss Jasmine Wright Johnson! Let me hear it!
I want to start off by saying that this is beautiful that all of you guys came out tonight, but I also want to remind you that not everything is going to be beautiful. When they killed Sandra Bland, it wasn't beautiful. When they killed Tamir Rice, it wasn't beautiful. When they killed George Floyd, it wasn't beautiful. So stop letting these people over the internet tell you that we're ignorant. Stop letting them tell you that this is a riot, because this is not a riot. This is rebellion. And they better be glad that it's not revenge. They better be glad that this is not revenge. So stop letting them call this a riot. And stop letting them tell you to stop protesting, because I don't know about y'all, but I'm not the one that's gonna shut the fuck up. So let's do this shit. Let's do this shit. We're in a national pandemic. COVID-19 is an outbreak. It's widespread. They said, stay inside like Botham John. They said, have clean hands, unlike Michael Brown. Authorities said, do not gather in large groups or else this disease will detonate, will explode like Birmingham bomb. Authorities said, this virus has been roughing up folks at alarming rates, but racial disparities have always had alarming rates. Authorities said, fall in line with the new normal, set to follow rules and nobody will get hurt. But what about Tamir Rice? I guess being a black boy is out of the fucking ordinary. They told us to listen. They told us to do what we're supposed to. But disparities have always been a part of the black existence. We ain't get to grow up on Whole Foods. We lived our lives half hungry, was never fully full. Don't you see how we always end up suffering? Don't you see how it's always disproportionate? Why colored folks always dying at the highest rates? And that's even in a national pandemic. The white sins always end up splattered on brown bodies. Authorities said this virus hasn't reached its peak yet, so they will decide to continue life despite how many deathbeds have been made. They get to decide my death, regardless of the regulation, regardless of the rules. Karen say, we've literally been doing everything we're supposed to, so why does COVID keep killing us? The pale people paint their faces red, they're angry. They turn their frustration into protest. They've been feeling blue for too long, have been depressed for too long, have been following rules for too long, have been in the house for too long. White people say, we above the law. Say I don't have to follow nobody's orders but my own. John wants a fucking haircut. Sarah wants to go to hot yoga. Says she wants to fly first class and visit the country she blames this virus on. She wants to fly first class and visit the country she blames this virus on. Mike say, I'm tired of seeing my people die. So why does COVID keep killing us? My hands aren't dirty. I haven't been doing anything wrong, kind of like Ahmaud Arbery. So why do they keep killing us? For one black boy, it's 3 bullets. To birth a black boy is to breed a funeral. It's to breed a casket. It's to breed flowers on top of tomb. Authorities say, these cops haven't even reached their peak yet. Because this country likes to mass murders, makes them mundane. buried. They crack jokes about closed caskets. Black people get assaulted over assumptions. They gonna keep killing us. They gonna keep taking my people away despite our protests, despite the numbers climbing. My people represent over 20% of all essential workers. So to stay home is a privilege. To stay home is a privilege. To make it home is a privilege. We've been fighting for our lives before this fucking virus started. But I guess now y'all know how it feels to have to follow orders and to still die. To have to breathe with a bullet on your back. To have to live with death kissing your neck every time you step outside. So why does COVID, why does jogging, why does sleeping, why does praying, why does playing outside, why does being black keep killing us?
Did I not tell you she was powerful, my brothers and sisters? Did I not tell you she was powerful? That's right. All right, we're going to have to adjust this, y'all. Because right now, I'm going to bring on a man who I consider myself a fairly tall guy. And this guy makes me look like a tinker toy. But I do want to thank this man for one very important thing. See, before anybody knew my name or who I was or I did anything, I once asked this man to come out and have breakfast with me and talk with me about our community. And he said, yep, wasn't even a question. And that's the type of leadership that I really appreciate in our state. That when I call my leaders, that when I call my elected officials and say, I'd like to meet with you, their only answer is yes. Not maybe, not someday, not somehow, but yes. So let me please introduce you a very gracious man, my friend, Rob Sand, our great state auditor.
Good evening. I gotta say, I am thankful for the time that's passed since Kiara spoke, because I lost it. Because this morning, I told a black man how much he meant to me. And it was in reminding him that I was old enough to be his father, and that he meant everything to me, and that I needed to know where he was. The last week has been hard for a lot of people who already see what's happening, but I want to speak today. I want to speak to
Now we lost it.
Now we got it again. I want to speak today to the Iowans who agree that racism is a problem, but who are not here. Who feel that racism is a problem, but that it isn't their problem. Or who feel that racism, we are not booing them right now. Please hold on a moment, please. They can be our allies. Who feel that racism is a problem, but they find it too hard to talk about it. Talking about race can be hard, can be awkward. I often don't have the words or the answers. I'm sure I'm going to screw this up right now. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that because our place and in this state and in this nation places upon us not just rights but responsibilities. One of those responsibilities is to make a more perfect state and a more perfect union. If you are not here tonight, you have to think about the idea that making a more perfect union for justice starts by listening to black Iowans, to feeling their pain, and to helping do the work. Good neighbors do this for each other. We need to be good neighbors. Parents do this to teach their children how to stand up for what is right. We need to be good parents. People of many faiths do this. I personally do this because I am a Christian and it is what Jesus would do. God calls on us to be peacemakers to the ways in which our system harms black Americans. And if you are not here tonight, just if you feel the need to condemn the acts of the few who break the peace, that does not relieve you of the obligation to join the many who seek the peace. Our efforts are imperfect. My efforts are imperfect, but there is more meaning in imperfection than there is in apathy. There is more meaning in imperfect advocacy than in indifference. There is more meaning in reaching the end of our days knowing that we did the imperfect right thing than knowing we did nothing. Join us. If you are not here tonight, please imperfectly challenge racism when you hear it with firm love. Please give an imperfect amount of money to an organization committed to justice. Please organize an imperfect rally or an imperfect candlelight vigil in your own town to show you care and to lighten and share the burden. You on the sidelines, get in. That's right. Join us in the imperfect effort for a more perfect justice system. And you here tonight, stay peaceful, stay safe. Thank you. We're going to have somebody come up here and give a closing prayer.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. I want you to pray with your eyes open. God can still hear you. Okay? I'm going to ask my goddaughter to come and stand next to me. And I'm going to ask my granddaughter to come and stand next to me. My goddaughter knows who she is. Where's she at? Where's my goddaughter? You in the red. Tiara. Tiana. Do I have the wrong one? Where's she at? Thank you. Come up here. They look much alike, as you can see. This is what the world looks like. See my complexion. You see my goddaughter's complexion. You see my granddaughter's complexion. And someone said if we would have left the other generations alone, they would have ended racism. Are you there? Still here? They would have ended racism by themselves. But we started messing with them, telling them things about black folks and white folks and Latinos and Native Americans, and our kids started looking at them sideways. Leave these children to grow up and love and to care and to share and to interact. So let's pray now. Will you pray with me? Say this. Say, Father, help me to love everybody and never act in ways that would hurt anybody. I am choosing to be a blessing and never a burden. I'm going to die doing loving deeds. Because when I live that way, everybody can breathe. Amen.
Hey everybody, we're going to have a KO speak. If you could just be vigilant. Pay attention to what's around you. Give us one second. How do we get this up to a KO? About 40 feet.
40 feet? Sorry.
Everyone. All right, come on. My voice is kind of bad right now, but I want you to raise your hand. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I'm not going to take long, but we have to have some real conversation. First, I want to thank every protester that came out and say thank you for protesting. I want to thank every individual that got on Twitter, Snapchat, FaceTime, and said, and Facebook. I just showed my age. They got on Facebook that said, no more. Said, we're tired of it. We're tired of the racism. We're tired of having to see not only individuals die, but we're also tired of women not getting equal pay. We're also tired of not having our schools funded. We're also tired of people trying to divide us, to make us mad at one another. We're tired. We're tired. To my protesters, I'm one of you. I'm one of you. Why am I one of you? Because I can't use, as our sister gave a poem, I can't use all the F words, because if I do, all the media will say he done lost it. But I can tell you I'm pissed off. I am totally pissed off. And why am I pissed off? Because of the fact that when I have sat down with individuals and we have talked about making a difference, and when we understand that yes, young 12-year-old Rice was killed and we had an opportunity to make a change and we didn't do it. When Michael Gardner was killed, we had an opportunity to make a change and we didn't do it. Now we're looking at George Floyd and he's died. We have to do it. How do we have to do it? We have to engage in action. Protesting is one way, one method that should never stop.
Hell yeah.
Protesting, we should always be involved in civil engagement. But another way is that we got to start talking to each other. Listen to me. My white brothers and sisters, listen to me. We don't need you just to march today and go home tomorrow. We need you to live the life when we say we're all in this together, is to be in it together. That means you have to go home and talk to your mamas, your daddies, your uncles. You got to talk to those who use the N-word. You got to talk to those that don't understand. You got to talk to those who tell you not to talk to me. You got to
gotta talk to those who tell you don't vote for them. You gotta talk to those who tell you don't go in the ghetto. We ain't even got a ghetto. You gotta talk to your friends, and then we gotta talk together. Because white privilege is alive and well. And let me clarify, because I know some of you don't understand that. Most of you in this audience today didn't lynch, didn't hang Emmett Till. Y'all didn't have slaves. You didn't lynch us from the polls. But you know what? Your ancestors did. And you benefit from it. I'm not being negative to you. I'm just saying when we have real conversations, that means we identify what it is. We identify who we are. That means that doesn't make me run from you, and you shouldn't run from me. We should be running together because we can make that difference together. When they call me a nigger, they're calling you a nigger.
That's right. That's right.
They're calling you what they're calling me because they're telling you you don't know the difference. I'm telling you. I had a young brother yesterday tell me they won't let a nigger like me come to the table. I told that brother they won't let the nigger come to the table, but they should let a free black man come to the table, but we'll make our own table. But the thing is, we want to come to the table, but at some time, my brother, like Joseph Putman from Iowa State University, that is the vice president of the Black Student Association, there he is. We had talked. You know why we talked? Because we're ready to make our own table. We're ready to create our table. We're ready to create our own. We know we got to use the resources that are out here. But we ain't talking about no piddly-diddly stuff. We talking about banks. We need our own bank. We need a people's bank. We need a people's bank that does people business as you do people protesting. If we don't make our own and stand up, my friend Mayor Frank Connie is here. Mayor Frank Connie and I are going to start meeting with some young people. We're going to start meeting with some young people because you know what we're going to do? And this ain't negative. We're going to prepare some of you to take his job and my job. We want to teach you the system. We want to teach you how to be a city council person. We want to teach you how to be on the Polk County Board of Supervisors. We want you to be on the school board so our teachers don't have to spend their own money to educate our babies. I want to be with you. I don't want you to have to suffer. I don't want your children to have to suffer. I don't want to have to give a knee. What I want to do is be able to tell those. I want to tell those who put their knees out. I want to tell those who put their knees out. I want you charged with murder. I want you charged. I want to see the charge of murder. I want to see you understand that we don't want individuals to get away anymore. But we also want to be able to say that if you're protesting, we don't want you to throw bricks. We don't want you to throw bottles. We want you to protest, and we want you to support those who can make that change, and that is you. You can make the change. We want you, as young brothers and sisters, I'm talking to everybody. I don't care if you're white, Asian. You ain't gonna hear me say green and blue, because if green and blue, we need an ambulance. Whatever ethnicity you are, we got to be able to come together. We got to be able to stand together. We got to be able to not threaten one another. I'm not scared of you. You are part of me. You are part of me. Your skin is my skin. Your pain is my pain. You got to understand, I am with you. I understand you. Not just because I'm black, because I'm in pain. Not just because I'm standing here talking to you. I understand you because we have to make a difference.
Yes.
Now here's what we're going to do, and I'm going to close. Because when you leave this rally peacefully, when you leave here peacefully, you're going to leave here free. Your mind is going to be free. And I'm getting ready to tell you, because a lot of us are in prison right now and we don't even know it. Because your mind is in prison. Your mind is in prison because of the fact that we have been conditioned to be in prison. Because we have let people, let me show you one way we've been in prison. We got so caught up about the President of the United States, Donald Trump, that we spend more time talking about Trump instead of talking about how to save our own rump. Instead of how to say what we need to be able to do. Donald Trump is a product of America. He's a product of America. He ain't America. He's a product of America. That means that when he gets up and says that if they loot, we shoot, don't be getting on Twitter talking about him. Understand, shake your head and say, what we are about is building a community, building a neighborhood, building a unified force, because what we will do is that we're going to allow you to be who you are, because we're going to send you back in November to run your business, because you can't run the business of the United States of America. I want you to quit talking about him and talk about building, talking about how we unite with one another, how we embrace one another. I don't want to spend another time talking about him, because you understand, retirement is a few months away. What I want you to do, I want you to spend time talking about Joseph and going to him and saying, brother, we need you. We need you to stand up and be the man that you are now. I want you to find someone, one of them young people, one of them young adults who was protesting, and I want you to say, I want to join forces with you, and we're going to work together. Don't criticize them, don't talk at them, talk with them, and listen to them, because they have a message to tell. I want you to join organizations. I want you to get uncomfortable. I want you to be very uncomfortable. If you never walked in a black organization this week, get to walking. Listen to me. If you never walked in an all-white institution, I want you to get to walking, because they also have to be educated to let you know, I'm a human man. I am a free man. I am a man to come with you. And I'm not going to run from you. I'm going to run to you, because we are going to have change. I want you to join the NAACP. I want you to join the Iowa Democratic Black Caucus. You ain't got to be black to join the caucus. You got to be free to join. Your mind has to be free. I don't want you to be scared, but listen. I also want you to treat women with respect. When you call a woman, I don't want to say bitch, the B word. When you call her that, you're calling somebody's mama a name. You're calling somebody's sister a name. You're calling somebody's aunt a name. You're calling a name to someone who deserves the respect because why? They brought you into this world. My brothers, black and white. And let me finish with the sisters, black and white, Asian, Latino. Let me finish you. I tell you, if Malcolm said you can tell the strength of the country by how they treat the woman. Let me tell y'all something. When that individual, whatever ethnicity, comes up to you and just at it, and you know how they throw that hip, I'm almost done. I see my little sister look at her watch. She said, wrap it up, brother. All right, I am. But here, when that brother or that spouse or that one comes up to you and comes up and talks about, hey, baby. Hey, baby. Do you love me? And you say, I do, baby. Well, you know, me and you need to do what we need to do. You need to show me you love me. I want you to look at him and say, baby, good things comes to those who wait. And when he looks at it and say, and you know what happens when we get disappointed? Wait for what? Look at him and don't get loud. Just say, baby, I want to wait till you finish school. I want to wait till you get a job. And I want to wait till you move out your mama's house. That's a free mind. That's a free mind. And brothers, all of you, black, white, Asian, if you want to be a man, it's not about how low your pants can be and the underwear you can show. It's not about the Jordans or the Nikes that you wear. It's not about how many children you can have. It's about you being a man. Can you take care of the baby? It's about you being a man in your home and being able to defend your woman. That means you're being able to defend your home by coming out and you're protesting. You're making the changes that you need to make, and we're making it together. If we do that, then we have a freedom that we never had before. That means that when you're looking at your home, you're looking at how to buy your home. You're looking at how to have ownership. When you talk about building and wanting money, you're not always talking about working for somebody. If you're able to get and develop your own business, then you begin working for yourself. That's a free mind. That's a mind that's free. I'm leaving now. And somebody said amen. But I wanted to say that because it's not just about walking, it's about putting your life together and having action. It's about you standing up together with one another. We can raise our hands together all day. We can kneel all day. But we also got to come together to make those changes. And I'm saying, before I leave and go up there, I want everybody to take a kneel. I'm going to take one with you. I know it's concrete, but then did George was on concrete. I want you to go down if you can. If you can't, and I'm telling you, I got 2 bad knees, but I'm going down with you because I got some individuals to help me back up. Once I get up, I'll get you. Because we're brothers. We're not going to stay down here 9 minutes, but we just need to feel our knees hurting a little bit. You need to feel the pain.
Let's stay down here the whole time.
Because what happened is, George felt the time.
Let's feel more.
If you listen and see the video, George's mother has passed away. And who did he call for? He called for his mama because he seen something that we haven't seen yet. He was able to see death. He saw that death. So for him seeing death, we now must make sure that his legacy and his call for his mama does not go unanswered. We want to make sure now that that legacy goes on. While you're down, I want you to raise your fingers like this. I want you to understand that like this, we can't do it. But if we give love, if we holler for justice, if we holler for us coming together, if we holler because of the fact that we're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then we laugh it over and put it together, then we have power. We have power that we can stand together. We can't do it like this. We need power. Tell me, we need what? Power. We need what? Power. We need what? Power. Can we do it together?